welcome to the next section of the one and only Ruby. This chapter is called Bad Places. Twice, searching for water and food, Grandmama led us into places we were not supposed to go. We only realized they were bad places when the humans began to yell. It's hard for us to tell where farms begin and wild lands end. A herd can do a whole lot of damage if it wanders through farmland and eats crops, but it's not our fault. It's just the way we are. We have big tummies and we need to fill them. The humans made hard, hurting noises that ripped the air and we stampeded to safety. Hunting rifles, Mama explained later as I trembled under her belly. The mud hole. The next time I met up with humans, we were even closer to some farms. Mama and I had been straggling behind the herd more and more. We were both weak, and keeping up is already tough when you're just a tiny calf. The herd tried to wait patiently, and Grandmama did her best to slow the pace, but she was responsible for everyone, not just us. Even Jichinga switched to the back of a faster elephant, one of my younger aunts, when his mother insisted he leave me behind. I understand, I told him. Don't worry, we'll catch up before you know it. But I missed our little band, and it was hard not to feel hurt, even though I knew he was just obeying his mother, who was trying to keep him safe and well fed. Somehow, later that morning, the herd moved far enough ahead of us that we lost sight of them completely. We'll be fine, little one, Mama said, but I could hear something new and nervous in her voice. We followed the herd's trail as well as we could, but when we caught the surprising scent of mud and water, Mama hesitated. Even though the smell of humans was strong, she just couldn't pass up the possibility of finding water. Sure enough, we came upon a small mud hole, not much bigger than me, but beautiful to our eyes. I ran toward it so fast that I slid down the steep bank straight to the muddy bottom. The water wasn't very deep, and at least it was wet, but the mud was thick, and it sucked me down until I was belly deep. I screamed. I was so scared. Mama tried hard to reach me with her trunk, but I was just too far away. When we heard the humans running toward us, we knew the end was near. Good humans. The humans gathered around the hole. There were many of them, and they made sounds with their mouths. I'd never heard humans speak before. The noises they made were strange, nicer than hyena squeals, but not nearly as lovely as birdsong. Mama paced back and forth, while the humans lowered thick ropes and tied them around my tummy. I should have been terrified. I hadn't forgotten what Grandmama had said about humans in danger, but something told me I was going to be all right. Don't worry, Mama, I called. They're helping me. I was right. After an hour of pushing and pulling and grunting and struggling, the humans yanked me out of that hole. I was safe, scared and shivering, but safe. They even led us back toward our herd. I'll never forget their kindness, even in a zillion years. Those are good humans, my first, but not my last. Good humans, Uncle Ivan repeated the words slowly, like he was tasting them for the first time. I've met a few of them myself. Uncle Bob groaned, but after a moment he shrugged. Okay, I hate to admit it, Ivan, but you're right. Take Julia and her mom and dad. They're not too shabby as humans go. On the other hand, I said, and Uncle Ivan and Aunt Kenyani and Uncle Bob all sat up straight, afraid of what was coming next. On the other hand, Uncle Bob asked. On the other hand, I said softly, there were the bones. The bones! We came across the bones under a small acacia tree. It was a few days after Mama and I had caught up to the herd at last. We were still stragglers at the end of the line, but at least we were back where we belonged. The bones lay in a pile with a few scattered here and there, but I didn't know what they were. Even after Reth whispered, "Uh-oh, I don't like the look of those," even after the whole herd gathered quietly around the pile. "What are they, Mama?" I asked. "Those are elephant bones, Naya. When we see those, we stop whatever we are doing," she said. "We see a life that has happened and we honor it. We feel the wind and the sun on our backs, and we are glad and grateful to be alive." In a way, they were beautiful, the bones, glowing in the harsh sun, curling and twisting, some thick as a small tree trunk, some thin as a twig. Grandmama went first while the rest of us watched. It was eerily quiet, as if the whole savannah was holding its breath. I'd seen Grandmama pick a single blade of grass with her heavy trunk. I'd seen her pluck a bug off a leaf unhurt and let him fly off into the clouds. But the way she touched those bones was gentler still. The first bone was long and smooth. She ran the tip of her trunk the length of it, learning the scent, knowing it. Some of the older aunts followed Grandmama's lead. They moved close to the pile, breathing, touching, considering. Nobody spoke. When Mama reached out her trunk to touch the bones, I rushed to join her. I almost stepped on a thin bone, and one of the aunts yanked me back with her trunk. "Foolish calf!" she snapped, and behind me I heard Reth snicker. I chose to ignore him. "Gently," Mama said as I extended my trunk. I could just barely reach a small curved bone. It lay on the dirt like a tiny new moon that had lost its way. I inhaled, careful not to breathe too hard, because what if I sneezed after already almost squishing a bone? I felt other pieces. I saw how they could weave together to be something more, something that could move and grow and cup a beating heart. "Mama," I said. "Yes, Naya?" "Where are her tusks?" Mama and Grandmama looked at each other. "We may never know," Mama answered at last. "I don't understand," I said. Soon enough, I would. Come back tomorrow for the next chapter. See you tomorrow. Thanks for listening.